What's remarkable about this prisoner swap is the scope and the scale. We have 14 prisoners being released from Russia from a variety of countries. We also have 8 prisoners being released from European and the United States. Highlighting the list, of course, is Evan Gershkovich, the reporter for the Wall Street Journal, who was unjustly jailed in Russia and has spent more than 500 days behind bars. Also, Vladimir Kara-Murza, an important human rights activist, anti-war activist, who had been sentenced to more than 20 years in prison in Russia. Paul Whelan is a case that has dragged on much longer than many of the other prisoners released from Russia. And his case is quite murky in that he engaged in kind of online activities with a variety of Russians. And he is a former Marine, and I'm sure that the Kremlin picked up on his background and these exchanges that he was having with Russian citizens and interpreted that as spying. Difficult to know the nature of the charges, but it's easy to believe that the Kremlin really put their thumb on the scale in this case. It's also important to point out the moral asymmetry in the type of prisoners that have been released. On the Russian side, it's cyber hackers, sleeper agents, and in one case, a prisoner who was convicted of murder in Germany and was serving a life sentence. On the side of prisoners being released from Russia, it's primarily journalists, human rights activists, and anti-war protesters. So the moral quality of the types of groups that are being released is quite different in both cases.
Evan! No.
Talks have been going on for a long time in secret. Every once in a while, rumors would appear that there had been a breakthrough, but nothing on the scale of this size was expected. Turkey has played an important role as a go-between between Russia and the United States. Turkey has good relations with Russia, while it's also a member of NATO in good standing. So President Erdogan could play the role of broker and still have credibility with both the Western European countries and with Russia as well.
The extension on his detention was today again upheld.
Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать, мы не отказываемся. Мы хотим договориться, и эти договоренности должны быть взаимоприемлемыми, и контакты есть с американскими партнерами.
And I think Putin wanted to lock down this agreement before U.S. elections. Certainly, the Kremlin would prefer to have Donald Trump in the White House. But their experience during the Trump presidency was that Trump promised a lot but delivered very little. And I think they might have been concerned that even with a Trump victory, it would have been difficult to get a prisoner swap of this size through the Congress. I think that's one factor. A second factor, more strategically, is this move could be done to strengthen those in the West who are arguing for a peace deal in Ukraine that would be very favorable to Russia. So a peace deal that would allow Russia to keep the territories that it has seized from Ukraine, and also one that would keep Ukraine from joining NATO. So one thing that this does is help to strengthen those in the West who are making the argument that the Kremlin can be a reliable partner.
What's your message to Russia right now as they're detaining this Wall Street Journal reporter?
Let him go. We're in process.
Certainly, I think it's a big win for the Biden administration. Of course, one always has to be worried that exchanging prisoners, political prisoners for criminals will only encourage rogue states, not only Russia, but other states as well, from taking innocent foreigners as hostages and using them as bargaining chips. Of course, that must be weighed against the benefits of freeing innocent people. And in this case, I think, given the size disparity, we have 14 prisoners being released from Russia and 8 from European and countries in the United States. I think the Biden administration can say that they bargained hard, they negotiated hard, and they got a good deal out of this.